Well, good evening, WNBA and LA Sparks fans, and welcome in to the LA Sparks 365 Network, your 24/7, 365 comprehensive home of the WNBA and your two-time WNBA champion Los Angeles Sparks. Welcome in, folks, to an extended edition tonight of the two-man show of record that is called The Guys with the Petition, alongside Chris Amanci via Apple's FaceTime for like the 45th consecutive day, it seems like, from the 800 Studios in Anaheim, California. Con McClurg rejoining you folks here from Studio 171 in San Diego. Chris, good evening, man. How's the weekend been, man? Lots been going on across the world of sports. Derek Jeter retiring in baseball. Great football today. A lot's been going on, man. How's it been going, though?
I don't know. Just because of what I found out, I think it was last week when you told me about someone on Twitter told me.
Yeah, man, there's been a lot going on, folks. And if you folks wondering why, we've kind of wondering, okay, where's my recap been for the past few days of the previous team season, folks? Again, I had work this week. Apparently, what I was told on my job site, the PA announcer completely flopped, like someone we know in the hangout here did in the postseason on the first night of the season. So they called me up and said, we need you to save our weekend. So I went up there and did 2 hockey games, and I'm wearing long sleeves because I am still a bit cold from the rink tonight. But other than that, folks, everything went well, and hey, $80 richer, so why not? Chris, there's been a lot going on, of course, over the course of Friday, Saturday, and today with a lot of things going on, which is why, Chris, we brought everyone an extended hour of a show here because we have a lot of important things to get to in the first hour, Chris, or first half hour. Then the next half hour, Chris, we get ready for this time next week when we launch the brother network for the Sparks, the Lakers 365 Network. Now, folks, I'm sure you guys may have saw across Twitter, across Facebook, Mixcloud, Spreaker, every place you can find, folks. Instagram, you found it, folks, yes. But I had the sincere honor and privilege to interview LA Sparks forward and center Candace Parker on Friday morning. Now, folks, this had been in the work or in the framework for basically the entire month of September, folks. Now, as you folks probably well know very well, I am in school for broadcasting, and I sort of skipped ahead one chapter from commercial writing to news to sports and saw the guidelines basically that I'm given about how to conduct an interview. So I thought to myself, let me do a dry run and see how well it goes. So after I got the idea to do the interview, basically, I thought, okay, so I got the interview lined up. I need someone to talk to, someone that you guys... try to interview someone, an athlete, someone that you guys won't see, that you guys have not seen on the network or seen on any of my YouTube channels across the platforms here. So, ironically, I was in a off-air, closed-door meeting hangout with Crystal Thomas about early September. I said, Crystal, I got to do an interview for school, and I'm thinking about possibly interviewing Candace Parker. And she basically was the person that said just to go for it. Now, I know that Chris would have told me to go for it because it's, one of my favorite players, everything else included. So after a few days of deliberating, I thought, okay, I will DM her on Twitter and just throw it out there to say, can you do this for me just for the sake of a grade for school? So I think I DM'd her, I want to say on August 27th, I think. And I really, folks, was not really expecting to hear back from Candace because, as we know, the season had ended a week before I had first asked her for the interview. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to hear anything for a while because, she's still trying to get over the pain of losing in the postseason again and whatnot. But then to no avail, after we had finished up a block of the show here earlier this month, I did check my Twitter feed and did get a message back from Candace, and it did say, okay, just let me know when you need it by. And then instantly, folks, it was instant, electrical voltage. I was basically shocked, that I would hear back from Candace, Again, folks, hearing back from her again about a week after her season ended with the Sparks going down in flames to Phoenix in that blowout game 2 at Staples Center. But for her to do that, though, was off the chart. I will say that firsthand. So I said, okay, whenever you whenever you're available, let me know, and we'll go from there. We'll set up a time and date. So then, at the same time, though, folks, it's like I basically screwed up here and I flopped because. She's going to be going to play over in Turkey for Team USA. Then it's revealed the day before the tournament or the training camp starts that she does have minor knee surgery to clean up her knee. So I thought, okay, I may have caught a break, perhaps. Who knows here? So then days went by where I wasn't hearing anything. But folks, the thing though that I kept priding myself in is don't be that one person that's going to keep forcing the issue on her. I know that because she's got enough going on already in her life. She doesn't need one particular person to keep, land bashing her and keep asking for an interview that is not going to be live to anybody and won't be live till after you get done finishing it. So I just, laid low and basically said, look, I'm sure I'm on her radar somewhere, whether it's, a minor bloop or a major bloop somewhere on the radar, but I know I'm on there. Give her time because, of course, with her rehab going on, everything else included, folks. So, I basically told her, okay, I want to try to get it done by this past Friday because I started my job and I didn't want to worry about doing it Saturday or Sunday and then having to worry about doing my games over the weekend up here in Escondido and San Diego, covering my hockey games up here. So, days went by and I started getting a bit panicked, like, I don't know if this is going to work. Do I have a plan B, a plan C, plan D? Folks, there were backup plans in place. I did have the options of doing Candace Wiggins, Larry Burnett, and a few other people as well that were on my radar as well for possible interviews. So, I began weighing options. I told Shorty Mama 24 one night, I said, I've got backup plans just in case this does fall through. So I want to say maybe on Wednesday, I did just resend Candace, saying, hey, CP, I know you've got a lot going on, but if you are available at any time for an interview, let me know and we'll set it up. Then about maybe 12 o'clock that afternoon, I got a reply back from her saying, yes, I'm still available. Give me your phone number and I'll call you Friday morning at 8:30. Sent off the phone number. And then Friday morning, folks, I was a nervous wreck. For like the first time ever, I was a nervous wreck because for one deal, folks, this was the first time I was able to interview a pro athlete. I've interviewed other athletes in like amateur ranks, high school, collegiate kids, but never have I interviewed a pro athlete up until Friday morning. So I already had my questions laid out after she said she'd do it. So I had 25 questions plus her biography and stuff, basically her resume. And, I'm a nervous wreck and I can't sleep on Thursday night. I do not go to bed, folks, until 4 o'clock that morning. I get up 3 hours later, shower, have coffee, and then wait around, basically doing this to my phone, basically staring at it for hours and hours on end. So then 8:30 rolls around and I'm thinking, okay, she'll be calling in anytime soon. So then 9 o'clock hits, 9:30 hits. So basically an hour passes. I'm thinking, okay, two things, or basically one thing. Something must have happened, I think, with her daughter. And I was right. And, I was, going on and getting water and using the restroom. And my mom's all like, Calvin, did she forget you? And I told her, she did not forget me, okay? If she didn't have time for it, she would have told me if she didn't have time for it. But she did say she had time for it. So 9:30 comes around and I just let her know again, saying, hey, I'm ready to roll. I'm on your schedule, not on mine. Whenever you're available, whenever you're open, hit me up and we'll get going. She said, yeah, I didn't forget you, dude. I just had something going on at Layla's school. So then 10 o'clock hits and still staring at the phone for a bit. Then about 10:30, no caller ID. So I didn't snag the digits, folks, in case anyone's wondering. But no, I get the call and we go from there, folks. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, 41 minutes of solid talk about her career, her, growing up with her two brothers, her high school days, college, pros, her future, some favorites, and a little rapid fire basically with her favorite food and stuff, and me trying to guess all of her pro teams and got all of them, I think, but one, I think, right or wrong, I should say. And honestly, folks, I just checked the numbers today, folks. That interview has already been listened to 203 times in 2 days. It hit 106 hours yesterday or Friday after it got posted at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's been there's been more shock, I think, from Friday than when I first met her back in July. And as I do bring Chris back on here now, Chris, I know, man, that when I told you that I was going to get the chance to interview her, you thought I was BSing you. Then when I played the interview for you, dude, you still didn't believe me. I'd have played for you, man, like over and over again until it finally registered that your best friend just interviewed his favorite player on the LA Sparks in the WNBA, dude. When you may have listened to that interview on Friday, For one, how do you think I did? Did CP like the interview? And do you think we have something going on here going forward, perhaps with the network with future athletes in the WNBA?
Just speechless. Like I still am. I just think we're gonna get him somewhere. This network, because since right after that happened, since someone followed the network on Twitter, and already like a lot of people following the network, and I think to be getting somewhere.
Folks, to be fair, I don't mean to be the one to humbly brag here, folks, like I do occasionally, not a lot, but it does have to be brought up, though, folks, when you kind of do something like this. And, you know, and above all, your first interview with a pro athlete is someone that you've admired and watched during their whole college and WNBA career. That, folks, I literally could not stop talking about the interview I did with her nonstop on Friday. Told my parents, told my dad, told my mom, my brother and sister-in-law, my cousins, my aunts and uncles. I told everybody, folks, the whole family, the whole McClurg family got the link to listen to the interview, folks. That's probably helped out. But also, though, folks, more rewarding, though, folks, was yesterday afternoon when it was brought to my, well, when I saw it in front of me, but brought to my attention, though, folks, that I must have been doing something right to have Candace Parker's dad listen to the interview and then follow the Sparks Network on Twitter. I mean, this, I think, completely trumps meeting her in person back in July, folks. This, I think, is basically that game multiplied by 20. You know, bring every garbage truck you want to. You can run me over a gazillion times you want. Bring all the fan buses from Phoenix to run me over. I can honestly, I could have, again, like I said back in July, folks, I could have died outside my house here on Wheatstone Street in San Diego. I could have died as a happy man because a lot of things, folks, just, I mean, Chris, all the poker chips that I put on Phoenix to win the WNBA title, all those chips fell into place. With her, unfortunately, not playing on the game I went to back in July, I get her autograph 3 times after the game, and then at the post-game autograph session twice in a row, to even back in November of last year when I got followed by her on Twitter for the great blog I wrote about how I got started with women's basketball. After she saw a few edits I did on Instagram, that she followed me there. Now that we're connected on Score, which is a new interactive sports app, in case anyone out there wants to download it, you can follow your favorite athletes out there for free. That, I don't know, man, but like I told Shorty, and I told you too, man, that perhaps the last name on that jersey back there, man, is going to have to become hyphenated in the back of my last name pretty soon. And maybe as a joke, perhaps tomorrow, man. But, hey, it sure seems that way, Chris. If Candace Parker did the interview, Chris, but above all, man, her dad, Larry Parker, man, who was a college standout basketball player at Iowa when he was in his prime, man, that her dad listened to the interview and then followed the network on Twitter, man. Okay, man, I'll ask you. Not the network, Chris, but am I, as a young 20-year-old man going into broadcasting, am I doing something right, it looks like, for once? Or twice, maybe?
Yeah, I think you're doing something right. Going somewhere big.
I mean, folks, literally, ladies and gentlemen, I know we're going to be ranting about this for the next 16 minutes here, but all weekend, I have literally been right behind me on my bed here, sitting and just staring into space because this has been an awe-inspiring weekend. I mean, Chris, I've been playing a song called Bittersweet Symphony by The Ver all day today because it's been a bittersweet weekend. It was a great Friday. Of course, when I interviewed Candace on Friday, I went out and, saw my family like I normally do on the weekends. And Saturday yesterday, Candace's dad, above all people, Chris, it could have been Marcus and Anthony and Sarah, but it's her dad that listens and follows us on Twitter, to having, working last night and saving my hockey team's weekend basically for how bad the PA guy was, to today, working and then getting paid some cash money for once, for the first time in a few weeks, getting paid $80, man. It's been a bittersweet weekend, man. It's been very sweet about what's happened on Friday and Saturday and today, but it's unfortunately, Chris, it's a bit bitter because unfortunately we go back to reality tomorrow and there is no interview on Friday. There is no hockey on Saturday and Sunday, and no Chargers win again on Sunday. So it's kind of bittersweet, man. But as I go to you, man, what would you say if you or actually let me just rephrase it, Chris. What would you say? I mean, Chris, like we say a lot, I ask you for your thoughts and a recap about a game, Chris. How about your thoughts and recap about this awesome weekend that it's been for not just me, Chris, but the entire Sparks Network?
Just awesome week. The network, yourself, just awesome week.
Now, Chris, I had a few friends of mine yesterday and today that listened to the interview on either Mixcloud or on Spreaker. Now, folks, you guys can there's actually, folks, two ways you can listen to the interview with Candace Parker. You can go to my Mixcloud page, easy for me to say, my Mixcloud page, or you guys can go to my YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/user/Calamac94, and you guys can listen to the interview on YouTube via Spreaker. And you guys can listen to the interview there. Again, folks, it's been listened to almost 200. It's been listened to over 200 times already in 2 days on Mixcloud.com. We will actually, folks, by the way, post the links for you folks down below, because this is an interview, folks, you guys will not want to miss anytime soon. And it's going to be up there for all of eternity until that page goes down or whatever may happen with it. Now, Chris, getting back to my friends that saw me this weekend at my job site, and they, talked about, that they heard the interview, Chris. Chris, flat out, they asked me point blank, Callan, how in the hell did you keep your composure during this interview, knowing that you were interviewing your favorite player? Well, Chris, basically, man, like I told you, man, because I know you wanted me to ask her about the petition. Now, I think, Chris, that she kind of remembers it a bit about the offseason, man, but, Chris, that's not the time and place to ask a question like that, because, Chris, in interviews, man, you don't try to add yourself to the conversation, man. And this, Chris, in no fashion, I did not want this thing to be a flop, unfortunately, like your playoff predictions this year, man. I did not want it to be where it was going to be, that fanboy, fangirl moment with their pro athlete, Chris. It had to be a professionally done product, Chris, like everything I do on here, on the Lakers Network, and on my other stuff, Chris. It's got to be done as a pro, Chris. And yes, there was butterflies, there was excitement, there was, happiness and shockwaves, that were able to rattle the state of California, Chris. There was that burning desire inside, Chris, to sort of be that way, man. But I remember, though, man, you're doing this for a grade for school and how she perceives you in the future. Because, Chris, who knows, man? She did say she's weighing options for broadcasting, man. And if it wasn't done professionally, Chris, I think I may have burnt a few bridges there, Chris. So, Chris, I'll ask you, though, man, and awesome fans, though, too. How did you think, though, man, I was able to keep my composure, though, man, again, knowing, man, I was interviewing my favorite player from the LA Sparks on Friday morning?
Just did a good job keeping the composure down and not getting too excited.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, the thing, Chris, that I've noticed with a lot of interviews, Chris, I mean, Chris, this is interviews and press conferences, Chris, is I think everyone's a little bit too serious. And I'm sure you guys have seen my style here on the network is, yes, I'll be serious, I'll be fired up, and I'll be cool. But Chris, at the same time, man, I like to have a good time. I like to joke a little bit, and compare things a little bit, and bring up cliche stuff, Chris. But that's my style. Chris, I like making people feel comfortable. And Chris, I've loved that we've had 14 people subscribe on here, Chris, and Chris, all the great reviews that we get from everybody across the league and the fan base, Chris, about how we do, man. But I don't like to be serious. I mean, Chris, I liked, yes, I want to get stuff done, in a properly manner. But Chris, we're not here to be, low-keyed, average media members, Chris. I mean, we're here to be, we're here to do our job, yes, Chris. But we're also here, though, we're here to, have a good time, and that's the thing, Chris, that I've noticed, at least with myself, man, is, I like to laugh and joke and chuckle a lot, Chris, and I do bring up weird analogies, like, shockwaves inside of my body that would, rattle the state of California, Chris. But that's just how I do things, Chris. I like, as I said, though, I like to be serious and funny, serious and down to business, Chris. But at the same time, though, man, you've got to have that soft side, and I say this a lot, Chris, in a comparison here, Chris, that, that when Candace Parker lit up like a Christmas tree on July 23rd when she saw me after the game, that we all have to show that soft side. I mean, we can't all be pros and serious here, man, that we have to, be ourselves in a small fashion. You know, chuckle, joke, make fun of you for no reasons, make fun of other people for no reasons, make fun of the New York Liberty for having a retirement home in downtown New York right now. But Chris, that's just how I am. I'm not just that way, Chris, with the WNBA. I'm that way with all the teams I cover, Chris. I mean, there's been times on, you know, on hockey games I broadcast, man, that people have more fun listening to my jokes and cliches more so than the actual game commentary. So, Chris, I'll go to you on this one, man. Is it really, Chris, in your mind, is it important, though, that not every press conference and interview is all this, you know, serious, down to business, you know, nitty gritty stuff where you can have an interview, Chris, like I did, but, you know, make your guests laugh, make yourself laugh. And, you know, Chris, just have a good time. I mean, you're getting the work done. Yes, man. But you got to have some sort of fun, though, right?
Right.
I mean, we have plenty of fun here, folks, on the network. Every night we get the chance to come here to talk to you folks about things, whether it's, you know, FIBA, the WNBA, open court, or whatever it is, folks. I mean, yes, we will be serious. We will get down to business. We'll get down to the nitty-gritty details and sometimes sound off and be a bit agitated, folks. But also, we're going to sit back and chill, and we're going to be here for the next, you know, 30 minutes or whatever. We're just going to hang out and have a very good time. Now, again, folks, Chris just sent out the link to you folks to listen to the interview again. You guys can go there and listen to it. If you guys want, go ahead and you know, give me some love here. I really want to hear more so from I really want to hear more from non-LA fans on this one here. I want to hear more so from other fans here. Even though Chris spelled Parker's last name wrong, who really cares? He's typing fast. But folks, to be honest here, I really want to get your input, though. Let me know on Twitter. Let me know on Facebook, on IG. Just let me know, folks. You know my handles already. If not, it's at Calimac3 on Twitter. Let me know, folks. I want everyone's opinion about how well this interview went. Again, I know it's a tired cliche that I say a lot. So I'm sure you guys are like, you know, okay, we know that you're so blessed to have this job. But, folks, it truly is a blessing. I mean, I was talking to, you know, a few parents of my dad's travel team mission. And one of them actually, Chris, and this will be a little bit of a story time before we move on to our next topic here, is I was stopped at my dad's practice. I was going to go use the restroom briefly, but I got stopped by this player's mom, and she asked me, she said, I heard you're a broadcaster, like, what do you do? And I had to basically, run down everything that's gone on. And Chris, honestly, man, I know, Chris, it's a tired cliche that they're tired cliches of the hashtags you guys always see across IG or Twitter. I'm so blessed and I love my job. But folks, to be fair, this is something that has been in my DNA. It's been instilled in my brain. It's my CPU. Like I'm the Terminator from, T1, T2, T3. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, basically. It's inside my DNA. Cyberdyne Systems Model 101. It's been instilled in me. It's been basically injected in me for the past 20 years that I sort of have been destined for greatness at such a young age, folks. And I mean, honestly, Chris, like I said, I think last night on IG, because I had a bit of jigsaw memory here, man, is, Chris, the late, great Tony Gwynn, Chris, after every time he was honored by the Padres, whether it was his Hall of Fame induction ceremony in 2007, whether it was when he got inducted into the Team Hall of Fame in 2002, or his last game, Chris, he always finished saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And Chris, I had to do that yesterday because, honestly, man, and it's also on my website, folks, where, Chris, not many people know what their future plans will be, Chris. Let alone, Chris, what their future is going to be, Chris, at age 4. Yes, folks, at age 4. Yes, at age 4, folks, that is when I said I'm going into sports broadcasting because of a gentleman named Ted Leitner, who at the time was doing Channel 8 News down here, the sports recaps, who's now calling the Padre games and San Diego State football and basketball games. That's where I knew my future was, folks. And from that point, I have not changed my mindset from that day forward. From age 4 to age 20, 16 years in the making, folks, and this is where I've gotten. Broadcasting school, covering things that are not on the mainstream. I am, I've been sort of thankful, Chris, to not have to cover scandals like Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson and all the nonsense and baloney in the NFL, Chris. I can, have my low-key sports, like the hockey team I work for, the Sockers, the Force, and above all, Chris, the Sparks and Chris. Now we got the Lakers coming up in next Sunday. We'll get to that, folks, in about 5 minutes here. But Chris, I'm sure it's a tire cliche, man, but you know, it kind of is what it is, man. I'm not sure if it's the same level as when Tim Tebow used to pray before the games, Chris, but you know, when you are able to have so many opportunities at such a young age, Chris, where folks 10 years ago in 2004, a little backstory here. I was at the Padres game on my birthday versus the Atlanta Braves, and I just turned 10, and my dad wanted me to do something special for my birthday. So they said, well, why don't you go ahead and be the little star of the game? Now, folks, that basically is a kid goes up to the box and announces a batter's name over the PA for an inning or so. And, folks, to be very honest here, this was also at Qualcomm Stadium where the Padres used to play before they moved to Petco Park. Folks, it was honestly to the point where I needed no script. And the person trying to hand me one, I basically took it and said, here you go, because I do not need it. So I got my name on the Jumbotron. I was on the Jumbotron and stuff. My dad got a photo of it, folks. So folks, I crushed this thing out of the ballpark, folks. A crowd of 50,000 fans literally rose to their feet and applauded for a good 90 seconds. Folks, and also, ladies and gentlemen, it was so good. Professional MLB writers, TV announcers even came over to my dad and said, "Is this your son?" The late great Bob Chandler, who used to call the Padres games for many, many years back in the 80s and 70s and the 80s. He came up to my dad and asked if I was his son, and my dad said yes. Bob Chandler said, your son has the brightest future I've seen of any kid that has come up to this box to do this thing. And, folks, honestly, even fans, after I had left the press box and went back to my seats, I was getting stopped and, congratulated for how well I did. And it's honestly, it's still a memory that's fresh in my mind that I was able to go to the press box at a pro stadium for a pro game, and I do my thing, and 50,000 fans stood up and literally applauded for 90 seconds. Writers, announcers, media members congratulated me. Fans of both teams applauded me. I mean, it was, by far one of the best days of my young childhood up until Friday, 10 years later, where I'm able to go out and interview CP3. Now, Chris, I know we tried our best to see if the Sparks would let me in the door to do the pregame intros for my 20th birthday. That didn't happen. But, Chris, I think, though, man, that with Hootie Who on our side, man, we might be able to make that a reality, man. But also, Chris, as we went into story time, Chris, your thoughts about hearing that story I just told Chris about, this 10-year-old kid going out there and doing his thing, man, and 50,000 people standing and applauding, media members congratulate him, and above all, Chris, random fans, Padre and Brave fans, Chris, stop this kid and just, hug him or shake his hand and say, great job. Your thoughts about hearing that story, man, because it's one I love bringing up. And also, folks, it's on my website. You guys can go there and read about it. Chris, your thoughts about hearing that story right now as we get ready to talk about another network coming very soon.
Just a very awesome story. Here.
Tell you what, folks, you may get a bit frazzled with the hashtags on Twitter and IG, folks, but anytime I get the chance, folks, to do what I do best, yeah, I'm so blessed. And yes, I do love my job that much. But again, folks, Chris is helping out here again on Twitter. Again, folks, we want you guys to listen to that interview as much as you want, folks. You guys can go to mixcloud.com. Chris has sent out the link on Twitter. We retweeted on both my handle and the Sparks handle. Go give it a listen. Give me some feedback, and we will go from there. But again, folks, a very fun weekend again with myself interviewing Los Angeles Sparks forward and center Candace Parker Friday morning. And, folks, the interview, again, has been listened to almost 200-plus times in a span of 2 days. Again, folks, you guys can catch the interview on mixcloud.com, and you guys can go from there. The latest numbers, folks, the interview currently still at 200 listens. So go ahead, folks, and give it a listen. And then maybe, folks, subscribe to that because you may be getting more interviews with pro athletes or other athletes, though, folks, in general, sometime very soon. All right, Chris, we go from the good weekend, Chris, to the better news, I guess, or not really the better news. Parker's interview was the better news. What are we talking about here, Chris? The other good news coming up, Chris. Next Sunday night at 9 o'clock p.m., we go from the WNBA to the association. The Lakers 365 Network tips off on Sunday night next week at 9 o'clock p.m., October the 5th. Chris, we still got some things to work out. We'll do those tomorrow, though, man, because I need to get a hold of Shorty, and Chris will talk about the interview on Friday. But, Chris, here we go, man. Sunday is coming. We've been blowing it up on Twitter and on YouTube. The channel is up, folks. Chris, let them know, man. How pumped are you getting for the Lakers Network?
Just so pumped up and ready for next Sunday. The Lakers 365 Network to debut. I already got my shirt, hat ready. Just ready. Want to be next Sunday already.
Now, folks, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but as much as I am a huge Laker fan, folks, I actually do not own a piece of Lakers merchandise yet. We're working on that, folks. So, unfortunately, you might be seeing that Parker jersey up there, too, on the Lakers Network, folks. I will work on working that out, though, sometime very soon. I might put a yellow T-shirt up there, perhaps, but we'll work on that. But again, folks, Lakers 365 Network tips off next Sunday night, 9 p.m. Pac, midnight Eastern. Now, folks, there might be a conflict of interest, though, on Monday. Now, Monday, the Lakers play the Nuggets in a preseason game. One problem. The game is here in San Diego at the Valley View Casino Center, folks. And the problem here, I might be going to the game. So if that does happen, folks, we will unfortunately have to have one show and take the night off and then come back with you folks on Tuesday. We'll work on that, though. But, folks, again, the Lakers 365, folks, will be your 24/7, 365 comprehensive home of the NBA and the 16-time NBA champion LA Lakers. I got to work on my lingo here, folks, because I've been so used to saying WNBA and LA Sparks. Now I got to say NBA and the Lakers here coming up on Sunday night. Now, folks, as you well know, we will, of course, have our main show. But again, folks, we will work, though, on our other ones like you've seen here on the Sparks Network here. We will have, of course, a forum show. We'll have roundtable across the league. So basically, folks, it'll be a duplicate of this network, just with NBA going on here. So we'll go with that later. Now, Chris, I know that there's been a lot going on, man. I know you wanted to cover Media Day, Chris, but, Chris, there's no need to really cover a big media circus, Chris. And above all, man, hey, who knows, Chris, as we were talking about for a bit, as I told you, man, I know someone asked if we work for the Lakers and the Sparks, man. We're not there yet, or at least, Chris, I'm not there yet. Sometime soon, though, hopefully. But Chris, Chris, I'll tell you what, though, man, I can, Chris, hopefully, man, I can pull some strings, man, and I don't know, man, maybe we can try to attend Sparks Media Day next season. We'll see what happens. But Chris, as you know, man, look forward, though, to next week, Chris. What can fans expect to get from the network in regards to the NBA and the Lakers?
Just a great network around the league, the Lakers, and just a great network.
All right, folks, once again, the Lakers 365 Network tips off next Sunday night, 9 p.m. Pac, 12 o'clock a.m. Eastern on the Lakers 365 Network. Now, Chris, folks, what's going to happen with the network again? Now, folks, and remember that Monday is a bit up in the air right now because, again, I might be going to the Lakers game on Monday because it is in San Diego, and I kind of have a offer to go for free, basically, due to a few friends of mine that got some tickets already. So, again, if I do go, we will not have any programming there on that game. But, folks, what you can expect, though, for the network at least is we will only be having post-game coverage, folks, because it's a bit tough for both Chris and myself to be here at about an hour before game time because of things we're doing, folks. So what we will do, though, as we have done with the Sparks, though, folks, is our pregame show will be a series of tweets you will see from 6:30 till folks, it'll be a Tweetcast pregame show. We'll give you all the numbers, all the things you have to know, folks, and it will be basically in a tweet form. Every 5 minutes, you will get a new detail about the game, injuries, that stuff, folks. That will start an hour before the games begin. So, 7:30, 6:30, yada, yada, yada. Now, also, folks, it should be also brought up, though, as well that, again, with no pregame, folks, we will have post-game coverage of every game at 9 o'clock p.m., folks. We will not be going right after the game ends like you see sometimes, folks. We will be coming on at a designated time every night for the Lakers Network. So, again, it's not going to be like it is on television, folks, where it's right after the game ends. We have post-game coverage, folks. We got to give it time. We have other things to do during the course of the night. So, again, folks, all of our programming, folks, will start at either 9 o'clock p.m. or 10 o'clock p.m. because of things either I'm doing or Chris is doing, folks. But, again, next Sunday night, Lakers Network tips off October 5th, 2014, 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern Time on the Lakers 365 Network. Now, again, folks, we will have other programming, though, folks, as well as you probably know of. Again, that we have a lot here on the network with the Sparks. We'll have more about that during the course of the week, though, on the Lakers handle. All right, Chris, I think we have run out of ideas here, man, to talk about for the Lakers Network again, so we have a lot of things still to work on here. But Chris, we will end it right here, man, for the night. And, folks, by the way, in case you're wondering, we will get back on track tomorrow, folks. We will have our recaps tomorrow. We'll recap the Chicago Sky season tomorrow night back here at 10 o'clock p.m. But, Chris, as we do, man, put a cap on what has been a very bittersweet weekend, dude, on Friday, Saturday, and today. From everything, from the Parker interview to Candace's dad following us on Twitter to Chris. I forgot to mention, too, that Candace Parker was at SeaWorld San Diego today. Cruel irony for me, at least. Chris, your last thoughts about the weekend? And, of course, man, the new network tipping off next Sunday as we close out for the bittersweet weekend.
Just a great weekend for yourself and the network, and just getting set for the debut, for the launch of the network of Lakers 365 Network.
Folks, be warned here. Chris and I are going to be going medieval. That link to the interview, folks, is going to be spread around like that petition over the offseason, folks. It's going to be spent out every other minute you turn around, folks. Hey, go check it out. It's been, listened to almost 200 times, folks. Hey, it's 41 minutes, yeah, but it's solid. It's a solid conversation between the MVP host of the network and a two-time WNBA MVP. The MVP conversation is available again on Mixcloud.com. But with that, folks, we will call it a night here for this great weekend, folks. Until tomorrow night, have a safe night. Drive home safely. Thank you so much for coming, and good night. Now, this has been the LA Sparks 365 Network. We are Sparks, we are LA, and we are the WNBA. See you folks back here tomorrow night. Back here at 10 o'clock to recap the season for the Chicago Sky. See you folks tomorrow night. Bye-bye.